evening. Thank you for joining us. You're on Let's Talk Personal. I am your host, as always, Frances Reimers. Thank you for tuning in. It is a gorgeous day in the nation's capital, so if you are inside watching this or watching on your phone, I greatly appreciate you. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can always find us on Twitter at LTP Brand Radio or on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal. If you'd like to talk personally to me, and I hope that you do, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Your Firestarter or on Instagram at Firestarter CEO. And I do get some interesting messages.
Really? A beautiful woman online gets interesting messages? That's so weird to me.
I get some snarky ones.
I could see snark,
I could get snarky. Some people have commented that the tablecloth needs to be ironed. Some people have...
Those people suck, by the way. We're not eating out at a nice restaurant. We're talking.
And some people have commented on my outfits. A few people have been like, don't wear that dress ever again.
I say wear that every week. That's what I say.
But I do appreciate the fact that people are...
They take interest.
Engaged.
They're invested.
Yes. I mean, whether it's bad or it's good, at least they're taking the time to holler back at me. So sometimes, publicity, even bad publicity is sometimes good.
Yeah, you want people to care, and if, they care enough to say, I hate what you're doing, thank you. Yeah.
When they care enough to send the very best.
Right, yeah.
And of course, there is my dad in Wyoming who watches every week. And for those of you in my viewing public who watch every week, you know that I mention my dad frequently. I did have a viewer email me this past week asking when my dad will be officially part of the show. So I'm thinking about that. I'm trying to find a way.
If you can get him, he's very busy.
He's very
busy.
Sure. He's very busy.
He's doing all the talk shows.
He's very busy. His appearance is on Power Book these days.
Yes.
At the end of September is my birthday. Perhaps he will make an appearance for my birthday show. We will see. But apparently, people are so interested in who my dad is that they want him to be part of the show.
They are interested in you, Frances, so therefore they want to know everyone connected.
That's right.
Who helped shape and mold you?
Oh my God! Well, that is the character, the physical, the prime being. So we will see how we can work my dad into the show. But I want to get into you and you being on my show.
Oh, hello. All right. I want to get into you too. Wait, sorry, Dad. Never mind. I meant every way possible, actually, for being honest.
So if you have not seen the information out on this week's show, I have on with me my dear friend, new friend.
We're close.
We're very close.
Yeah.
We instant message often about things, random things that I see.
Instant message often. Not enough, if you ask me.
Right.
Not smother me. Go ahead.
I mean, my instant message about the couples that look a little too much alike, I think that was a valid...
It is weird.
It is.
Yeah.
So...
Break up or someone gain a lot of weight.
So I sent him a message one day that I find it very creepy when couples look like they could actually be related.
Yeah.
And this just kind of skeeves me out.
Do you think they realize that? Or...
I don't think they do.
Because that doesn't seem like a turn on, right?
I don't think they do. I don't think they realize that they do. But when you see them, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me.
We had our producer of our podcast.
Right.
I'm Rob Mayer, by the
way.
Hi. I keep interrupting her introduction. So the Rob and Joe show, ding, ding, ding. But our producer is Joe, my partner's brother, and he brought a first date out to one of our comedy show that we did.
That's taking a risk.
Yeah, and she looked like the female version of him. And of course, we talked about that, and they only had one date.
Yeah, so I'm sure it was one and done. And I'm sure he did not get laid that night.
He did not get laid. He might have gotten arrested because she left very angrily. So.
Oh, really?
No, we made her uncomfortable, and when we sense uncomfort, we attack. We keep going.
We attack. Right. There's blood in the water.
Exactly. That's the kind of guys that we are.
You're such great friends.
We are, yeah. We're guys. That's how you treat your friends.
I think that's how. Yeah, I think that's how friends should be treated. If you don't have that kind of relationship, then you're not really friends, in my opinion.
With the podcast, if there's an awkward moment, we want to, run towards that.
Now, are you live or do you record and release later?
We do have we do it live on Monday night, but mainly people listen later. We do put it out a day or two later. Rob and Joe show on Stitcher and every place. iTunes. I don't know how you find things, but you're smart people.
You just Google.
Google.
Use the Google.
You'll figure it out. Don't use Bing. It doesn't come up there. No, it's a joke. Ask Jeeves. We're all over Ask Jeeves. We're crushing it on Jeeves. We go right to the top.
You guys are right next to Home Repair.
Yeah, that's our market, the Jeeves people, the holdouts.
So if you guys have not yet assessed, and you have because you're very intelligent because you watch the show,
yes.
Rob is a stand-up comedian and has multiple hats that he wears, and some are tops, some are gesture, some are pig ears.
Some don't fit.
Some don't fit. It's very awkward. Some are ladylike. Sometimes you want to be dainty.
Sometimes I do. Hey, it's the Kentucky Derby. Let's go for it. Right.
Who doesn't like a little hat for the Kentucky
that.
I don't like mint juleps.
I like the idea of a mint julep, and then you have one. You're like,
I'm kind of over this.
Yeah, I like mint, but I like it in like my ice cream.
Right? Yeah. I'm not, and I just not a fan. Anyway, so Rob is a stand-up comedian, and I wanted to get him on the show because for those who don't already follow him, you absolutely should. Rob is a bit of a social media ninja, and has a very solid brand, and I wanted to get on and talk about that because self-branding in the comedy world can be a little complex and can get wonky. But first, I want to take it back up. How did you even get into stand-up in the first place?
It was something that I was just interested in, growing up, and Sam Kinison and Eddie Murphy. And then I started going to my friend's band practice and just telling jokes in front of them, which was sort of... they're strangers. Some of them were, and they're immediate girlfriends and stuff. So it was sort of a halfway leap into stand-up. And then I went to a comedy show near where I lived at the time in Front Royal, Virginia. Never go there.
It's a hotbed of activity.
Oh, it's a hotbed. Yeah. Crystal meth, all kinds of good things.
Now, is Front Royal because
Shenandoah Valley?
Right. But it's kind of on the cusp of the swinger capital of the Mid-Atlantic. That region out there is like swinger world.
There's not a lot to do.
Right. So, is Front Royal part of the swinger circuit?
I am not really up on the swinger circuit. Maybe. I'm the last to know about that. I've been at comedy shows where they were the headliner, or I won't drop names, but has hired prostitutes to show up. And then I'm talking to them in the green room, and I don't know. I'm asking, how did you meet? I don't even put it together. I'm that stupid. I've been overseas where the comic is asking me to ask the cab driver where the prostitutes are, and I think he's just where the good bars. I'm so naive. So I never know what's happening. I've done a nudist resort in West Virginia, and I realized later.
On purpose?
On purpose, yes. In Paw Paw, West Virginia. It's near...
in Paw Paw, West...
P-A-W. Yeah, well, insert your own joke. But I realized later, as I'm in this camper with these naked women, I'm like, oh my God, I'm the one that doesn't know that this swinging is about to happen. And so but I never know about that stuff.
I wouldn't know either. I would be very oh, so this is happening now.
Right.
Okay.
When I look back, I'm like, how could I not know? But then I'm just how do you know?
Well, when you don't,
Right.
It's like watching someone go into having a heart attack. You don't know it's happening
right.
until it's right there in front of you.
And then you realize there were signs. But I went to a comedy show. It was a 2-night show, Friday and Saturday. And I went Friday, and I befriended the comics afterwards. Mm-hmm. And I just talked to them. I wanted to do comedy. And then they said, why don't you come back the following night? And one of them was the Fat Doctor, who I didn't know at the time, but was he was a DC legend. He helped, with Martin Lawrence. He ended up writing on the show. So he was, I had no idea, but he was at the time, he still is a DC legend.
Right.
And I did fine, I guess. And he said, yeah, that was really funny. And that, meant a lot to me. And then later on, I actually got to work with him. So it came full circle. So.
And you, if anyone has checked out your website or any of your collateral, you've dubbed yourself the King of the North. Where does this come from? And does anyone agree?
I don't really, because you said that in the prep. See, on my website, there's the main page, and then my photo, and then underneath I have a little tagline, but I change it all the time. So because this Game of Thrones just came out. So that's my reference. Sometimes, during the Olympics, I said gold medal winner Sometimes I'll just, Iron Chef. It never makes any sense. It's usually
does
silly.
anyone else but me catch this?
I think no. I think you actually thought I was the king of the North. So.
I was like, when I went on your site a week or so ago, and I'm like, King of the North, what the fuck? Like,
right. Yeah.
Who?
I guess no one's getting that.
What is this, and
right.
where does it come from? And does anyone else like? I have lots of nicknames for myself too, but no one else calls me these things.
Right.
And
Well,
so
I thought it was ridiculous enough that you wouldn't really believe it, but apparently you thought maybe that Rob is actually the king of the North.
I thought it was, it's your static website,
Right.
and so I was like, oh, okay, so this is a thing. I'm right,
Yes.
write this down. I was unaware that you changed this often.
I
So
do.
now the juice is loose, and now people
Yes.
know.
That's my next status. The juice is loose.
Now people know that they can come back to your website often
Yes.
and get fresh content.
There you go. That's sort of the idea.
There's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
and now, but that wasn't apparent before, and now it is, and now you
And
can.
now everybody knows that. So
Now
now
everyone
I need
knows
to go
this.
change it to something.
Yeah, now you need to change it to
Right.
something else because now the King of the North is.
I'll be
Mare.
mother of all dragons. Will you get that, or you think that I'm actually a mother of dragons?
So I think, one of the few people in America that doesn't live their life around
Right.
Game of Thrones. I've seen it. I know what it is. I have a pretty good lay of the land. I don't care.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think I'm probably going to be stoned to death in some sort of way because
happens on the show.
Because I don't. People like literally live their lives around this show, and I could care less. What is there something
Right.
wrong with me?
No, I mean, it's a really good show. So
It is.
I'm not one that I would fail any quiz on it because there's so many characters and I don't know what's going on half the time. But a lot of the shows that I watch are like the Netflix variety where you're
yeah.
binging.
Yes.
And the Game of Thrones is different. Well, it's the traditional. It comes out
Right.
once a week. So then,
Right.
but that gives you this. Everyone talks about it online,
Right.
so it adds to the enjoyment of the show.
And has it made it into your stand-up routine at all?
No, not really. Maybe it will. Maybe I'll write a joke now.
Yeah. And then the people in the audience that don't laugh, you can point them out and be like, yeah, that asshole doesn't watch. We should all
Right.
stare in judgment.
But I'm not one. I don't care if you don't watch. This is what I do care about. If you're proud of the fact that you don't watch, so that just seems weird to me.
you're
Because
trying
you
to
can't
buck
be proud
the
of
system.
doing nothing.
You're trying to buck the system.
Right.
You're trying to be like, I don't care.
Yeah, but
And-
see, that's the douchey personality.
Yeah.
Just say you don't watch it. It's not
Yeah.
interesting. That's fine.
Yes.
But like,
Yes.
there's a lot of things that I don't look at or watch that
Right.
I'm not proud of the fact that I don't know opera. I'm sure it's fascinating, but it's not like I'm proud of. I don't know anything about it.
Right. You don't put it. You don't go out there and be like, I just don't have no time for this.
Right.
It's so
like,
important.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You read.
All right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we are going to talk about something that is actually very near and dear to me that Rob does in his very small, limited time, which is USO tours. So stick around and we'll be right back. Leaving the socks on is weird to me. Hi, we're back.
You missed a good conversation.
And we're going to turn the tables to something a little more wholesome. Performing for the troops. So
Yes.
a lot of people, if you have not been looking at Rob's social media, you may or may have not seen that Rob actually gets on an airplane and goes overseas and puts himself in some unflattering locales
Yeah.
to perform for our men and women in the armed forces. This is something that when I found this out about you, it endeared you to me even more. My father's retired Air Force, my brother's active duty Air Force. I grew up in a military town. So anybody who is putting themselves in harm's way to perform for the troops is obviously high on my list. How on earth did you get involved with this?
I got lucky. I was at the DC Improv featuring for Tommy Davidson. And
wow.
the guy that he works with, this guy Kenny Hill out of Hawaii, books him for these shows for the troops, and he saw that we worked really well together, and he said, I'd like to put you on some shows with Tommy. So, I've been with Tommy, probably 20 different times. We've been to Afghanistan, we've been to Egypt together, all throughout Italy, Greece, Turkey, Kyrgyzstan, and then I've done shows just with other comics that are not famous, just
Right.
people on my level. But yeah, I've been to, I think it's 15 different countries now, and Alaska. I know it's U.S., but it still seems like another country, right?
Well, some
I feel
people
like
can
it
see
counts.
Russia from their house.
Yeah, some people. Yeah.
And so when you're there, do you get to, do fun activities, or is it you fly and do the show and you get out?
It's it depends on the schedule. I mean, you're basically saying, what do I want to sacrifice?
Right.
Do I want to sacrifice seeing some things or sacrifice sleep? So
Right.
I usually sacrifice sleep because,
Right.
I've done Japan and Korea a few times, and those
Right.
are places, depending on the base, where you can literally just walk off the base. And you're
And
in a
part
town,
of the
and you can
culture.
do
Right,
things,
right,
right?
right.
And that's fun. In Egypt, we got to see the pyramids, so that was
Always
obviously
neat. Yeah.
amazing.
Right.
But you're in Afghanistan. You're not leaving the base.
Yeah.
I was in Jordan twice this year. You're
Right.
not leaving the base. Even if you did leave the base, there's nothing.
Where are you going to go?
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do.
It's not Star Wars out there. Like,
You're 20 miles from Syria. You're like, I think I'm going to stay right
I'm just
here.
going to stay put. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good. And what is it like for you being a civilian on these posts? Do you feel weird? Do you feel like you should be acting a certain way? Like, what's that like?
You do feel like you stand out. You ever been the new kid at school?
Yes.
Yeah. One time we were in Afghanistan and we had to fly. Usually we're just flying commercial
Right.
everywhere. So,
Right.
but we were flying from one base to another on a military plane.
C-130.
So, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone that is on there they're basically going back into battle.
Right.
And you have all your gear, and I feel like I don't belong here. It's on crooked, and they're all got their game faces on, and I'm just like, hey, what do I do? Where do I sit? And then because you have to take this gear with you, and it's easier to wear it than to carry it.
Right. Yes.
So, but once you get on the plane, you take it off because
Right.
it's heavy and
Right.
it's hot.
Yes.
I can't get it off. They're helping me, and I just feel like I totally stick out.
You're like, I am
Right.
awkward in every sense of the
Exactly.
word.
They're all in great shape. I'm all, droopy and whatever. But it is a good experience. You're looking around like these people are going into some real things. I'm going to just, tell dick jokes. They're going to shoot and kill. So we have a different game face. But
And so, what is the funniest or craziest thing that have happened on these trips overseas
well,
that you're willing to share?
Yeah. We were in Afghanistan for New Year's Eve a few years ago.
Oh.
And it was at Bagram, the huge base. And
Right.
I think that at that time, it was the third time I've been there. And, you get there and there's a briefing and there's, if we play this siren, this means this. And usually it's, whatever, it's no big deal.
Right.
But this time they were really sitting us down and talking us through it.
Right.
And they're like, yeah. And I got a different vibe. Like, this
Okay.
is more serious. And they're like, yeah, well, it's a holiday. And, they tend to be the enemy. It tends to want
Right.
to attack us more
Right.
on our holidays.
Right.
So this is New Year's. It's not our holiday.
Right.
But anything like Christmas
Right.
or 4th of July or something, the Americans are going to be celebrating. They're going to want to, amp it up. And
Right.
and they said a lot of the bad guys that usually go home for the winter, wherever home is, they had stayed. So I'm like, all right, did
They
we
go to
be
their
here?
winter house?
Yeah, I don't know. They summer somewhere else. But so I'm like, okay. So the show, they moved it from a typical evening to like 4 in the afternoon. And we had to
Okay.
wear this gear. And during Tommy's set, the siren goes off. And everyone hits the deck.
Oh no.
And so he's up there talking, then everyone's down, and he's like, "What do I do now?" So I'm down, I'm hiding. You know?
Oh my god.
And so, like 3 different times that happened while we were there.
Right.
And then we couldn't. Like, I just spent the night in the room,
Yeah.
and I'm just like tweeting basically. You know, it's 8 hours ahead there, so our New Year's, you know,
Right.
hey, it's Happy New Year. It's back, you know, afternoon back here.
And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a lot of fun. But it was like, okay, this is their life.
I mean, so as you were telling that story, all that was going through my mind is the scene from, I think it's Full Metal Jacket, when they're all in the barracks during the Tet holiday, and
Yeah.
you know the fireworks are going off and people are yelling, but they have to stay put because it's crazy out there. I can't imagine. I mean, you can't even get in a groove of your set if every 2 seconds people are hitting the deck.
Yeah, I mean that was rare. That's the only time that's ever happened. But generally, you know, it's a different show because the crowd it's an event.
Yes.
They're really
Yes.
They're happy that you're there. I
They're
mean,
amped up.
Yeah, you do a show here. You know, it's their Friday night. They have a
Right.
Friday night every weekend. They go
Right.
out. It's not like
Right.
an event.
Right. They fought in the car as a couple before they walked
Right.
in.
They're not happy and proud of you for being there. They're like,
Right.
I paid $20. You better be funny, which is fine. But over there, they're thanking you.
Right.
And it's a different vibe.
Right.
You know, the show, sometimes from a logistics standpoint, the sound and the stage and all that
Right.
is not perfect.
Right.
But from a standpoint where the audience is just like, thank you for being here. We know you came a long way. We really
Right.
appreciate it. We want to have a good time.
Right.
We have 3 nights out of our 6-month tour where there's something to do. This is one of them.
Right.
We're here to have a good time. And so from that standpoint, it's the best crowd you're ever going to have.
And in this crowd, because they're so amped up, because they're having outside interaction, is the heckling stronger, less? Like, what is the heckling like in a show like this?
Well, there's really no, you know, the closer you are to like, you know, battle.
Right.
You know, they're not heckling you. 'Cause
Right.
they know, like, I don't want to be here. I know you don't want to be here either.
Right.
But like I've done shows in like a Marine base in Japan where they're just, you know, crazy and drunk
Right.
and they're yell stuff. But
Right.
what I'm gonna do? Yell back? I mean, yeah, you win. Okay.
You're winning. You stay
Right.
there. I'm going to stay here because you could probably rip my head
Not
off.
probably, definitely. You're trained to do that, and I'm trained to run, and I'm slow. So. Gonna lose. So yes, you're right. That was a horrible joke. I'll never tell it again. Yes, sir.
Speaking of things that you don't really know what's going to happen, in addition to flying around the world and entertaining the troops, you also have your murder mystery
Yes.
show. What is this?
We've actually brought the murder mystery to. We went to Jordan, and we're actually, you know, it's not quite official, but I think we've locked in a 10-show, 3-week tour coming at the end of the year, and
In Jordan?
in Djibouti, Africa, and in the Middle East, probably
Not
Bahrain.
in my booty.
Not in your booty. No,
But in
there's-
Djibouti.
There's no mystery there. We know exactly what's happening. No, we started this, me and my buddy Joe Robinson, who I do the
Hi,
podcast
Joe.
with. He and his girlfriend,
Yeah.
it was her idea. Let's go to a murder mystery. And he's like, that sounds like a horrible idea. But you're hot and you're a female, so I'll do what you say. So they go on Groupon or Living Social,
Of course,
whatever.
of course.
And they find this show in Baltimore, and
Okay.
it's sold out for like 2 months.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, must be a demand. So they end up getting tickets. They go 2 months later.
right.
You know, you get like, it's in some Greek restaurant. And you get like a chicken kebab and rice and a Pepsi. You see this show. And it was horrible. And he's like,
Oh.
why? Like, everyone is coming to see this, so there must be a demand. And he's like, why don't we just do this?
Yeah.
Like, I have comic friends. We have Justin Schlager, who's on the #1 morning show in Baltimore on 9 to 8 Rock. He's
Yep.
one of the funniest guys we know. This is right up his alley. Why don't we just write a show ourselves and do this?
Right.
So it was one of these things where somebody has an idea and you're like, yeah, thinking it's never going to happen.
Right.
So here I have never seen a murder mystery. I still have never seen one other than ours.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, well, let's write something that could fit into a comedy club.
Right.
So we wrote this one called The Last Laugh about a comic being roasted.
Right.
And the roast, it ends badly. Someone
Right.
dies. And
Right.
then the mystery takes over.
Right.
And the detective comes out.
Right.
And we had 250 people at our very first show.
Right.
And now we've done, 15 different venues.
Right.
We do the DC Improv quarterly. We do the Ramshead in Annapolis. We do Funny Bones, Virginia Beach, Richmond, Albany, Syracuse.
Just to name a few.
Yeah, so we're all over. So it's taken off, basically. DieLaughingProductions.com. We have 7 different shows.
The 80s one, which I was sad that I missed because I did have a leotard that I wanted.
We have it again.
I know, but I was so confused if I was playing a role or just sitting in the audience in a leopard leotard. I was so confused about what I was doing because obviously I don't want to walk the streets of DC in a leopard leotard.
Why not?
I don't want to be accosted.
It's an interactive show.
Okay. So if I'm in my leotard and my headband and the whatnot, I'm not going to look like some weirdo.
Well, in that show, we do encourage you to dress up in 80s. So even if you weren't part of the show, you wouldn't
look like a weirdo.
Stand out, right?
Okay.
But we have audience roles. It's volunteer basis. You don't have to do it unless you want to.
Right.
But I would have definitely given you a role.
Oh, Francis. Yeah. I mean, if I bust out this fakakta leotard and put it on and wear it out in public, I better get a starring role.
You will.
I must be a star.
Yes. Well, not a starring because then we have to pay you. But you get a free audience.
I don't have a SAG card. You don't have to pay me.
Yes.
I'm not going to reach out to the union. So I'm very excited. But there is a mystery coming up, right?
Yeah, this weekend at the Baltimore Comedy Factory.
Are tickets available?
They are available. BaltimoreComedy.com. 1 show Friday, 2 on Saturday. And it's called Sing for Your Life. It's a karaoke. It's like a parody of American Idol, essentially.
Oh my God!
I play Carson Seacrest, sort of combined Carson Daly and Ryan Seacrest. Justin Schlegel from 98 Rock plays like a Simon Cowell knockoff.
Yeah.
We have a Paula Abdul knockoff and a Jennifer, a J-Lo.
J-Lo.
Yeah, and there's singing. Obviously, there's a murder.
Right.
And but it's a good combination of comedy, karaoke, and murder mystery.
Karaoke is probably my favorite activity on the face of the planet.
It's the show we did in Jordan. It's a show we will be doing for the troops again because it translates really well into everybody loves karaoke. So
you would believe maybe in other parts of the world people love karaoke. All my friends hate karaoke. Nobody ever wants to come
go
with
to
me
Japan or Korea.
Oh, I know. I know. They love it. They absolutely love it. But this sounds so much fun. But that's not the only thing you have going on this week. You have you're literally doing a show right after this show. What do you got going on tonight?
Yeah, going to the DC Draft House.
Yes.
Have you ever been to the Arlington Draft House? That's been around
DC
forever.
version.
It's the DC version. Yeah, same company. And Jason Weems, one of the best comics in the world, frankly, and definitely in the area, there's a benefit for him because he died on stage, not had a bad
and not
set.
Laughing.
Yeah,
no.
He literally had a severe asthma attack and ran off stage and was basically dead for 4.5 minutes. They brought him back to life, and shocker, that's expensive apparently to bring you back to life.
Yes.
That costs money. So we're having a benefit. There's a GoFundMe set up to try to. He was on Tony Perkins' show.
He was on with Tony and Gary. Yep.
To try to raise some money. He's got a wife, 3 children, so he could use the money. So.
I mean, a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that show is tonight at 8:45.
At 8:45, and then Thursday night I'm in AMP it's in Bethesda, Rockville area, the Strathmore Center or something like that. It's a 8:00 show with another good friend of mine, Mike Stork. And then, of course, Friday and Saturday, we're doing the murder mystery. And then tomorrow morning, if you get up early, 98 Rock, 98online.com.
Yes.
I'll be up at 6:30, hungover, tired, and sounding horrible. And smelling bad, too.
Well, I mean, it's radio, so, I mean.
Par for the course.
Yeah, I mean, that's what radio is. I had something, and it completely just left my brain.
It'll come back, too.
But you said it was the radio station tomorrow morning. And so you're busy doing all of this stuff. Do you do, for your stand-up, do you do the same set at every show when you have these many booked right up against each other? Or do you try to vary it a little bit? Do you try to try out new stuff and see how it works? What is that like for you when you have so many back-to-back-to-back?
Yeah, I mean, I never do the same set because I do get into the crowd a little bit. So I try to make every show its own thing.
Right.
So, a perfect show for me is where I've managed to weave my jokes into my crowd work and then back to the jokes. And it comes off seamlessly. That really happens. But that's the idea. But tonight's show, for example, I'm going to talk a lot about Jason and
Yeah.
his situation.
Yeah.
Try to make fun of him dying.
He's alive, so it's fine.
Exactly. So I'll try to have some fun for that.
Okay.
With that, so that'll be a different set of jokes. But I have my core bits that I do and
Right.
that I'm going to do. But I always try to throw in some new things, something
Right.
maybe topical.
So the set that I saw you do at the DC Improv way back when, was that for that crowd, or was that something that you've done before?
No, I mean I have no idea what I did. I've forgotten already. But
It was all about your girlfriend.
I do talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's my girlfriend is black, so I have some interracial stuff, but also there's just some things that are just about us moving in together and getting a house. And there's
Right.
just basically marriage stuff that I think, transcends black and white or anything,
Yes,
or
it does.
young or old. But
Now, does she know? Is she in on the joke?
she doesn't know that we're dating. She's,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
yes.
I mean,
she knows. Yeah,
sometimes I don't know I'm in relationships with people,
Hey.
and I get
you
mail
get
about
drunk
it.
one night, next thing you know, you have
I
a
mean,
kid, so.
these things happen.
She knows. She's proud of some of them. Others, not so much. But if she hasn't seen me for a while, she'll come back and says, wait a minute, you added that part. And I'm not sure how I like about that, how I feel about that. And I'm like, well,
You're like, I can't. Can I have no secrets, woman?
right.
Leave something to me. Okay, when we get back, we are actually going to take a turn to stuff that I like to talk about, which of course is branding and social media. So hang tight, and we will be right back.
So her legs were over her head. And I'm like, how did that happen? Anyway, continue. How's your dad?
He's great.
Oh.
He appreciates
Pops.
legs overhead. I mean, I haven't seen it, but
Every man does. Yes.
I would agree with that. So we were having a lot of fun without you. I apologize, but now we're back, and now you can join us.
Yes.
So before we left, we were talking about all the various places that people can physically come see you.
Mm-hmm.
You are extremely active on social media, and so where can people find you?
Well, it's at Rob Maher, ROBMAHER on Twitter and Instagram, robmaher.com, and then Facebook. Just you type in Rob Maher, it'll come up. So
Are you on LinkedIn?
No. That seems like something that people that have real jobs
Yeah.
and like you probably have like
I
a
do.
career.
I do.
And
Yeah.
you're smart and you went
Yeah.
to college
Yeah.
and you bring things to the table.
Yeah.
You can have resumes and people refer you and you can probably like spell and stuff. And,
People will connect with me through LinkedIn for dates.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
you mean like dates? Like
Yeah,
let's have drinks.
Let's hook up.
Okay.
I
Here are my references.
I've actually received a dick pic through LinkedIn.
Well, hello there. well, all right.
I'm like,
That's really LinkedIn.
he's trying to link
Yeah,
in.
he's trying to.
He's trying to dock. Yeah. And it blows my mind. It's like, dude, I now know your name, where you work, where you have worked, people that you know.
Yeah.
Why?
And your dick, you know.
And
yeah.
your dick. I'm like, I need references on this dick. Like, I mean, is
Sure.
it really yours?
Yeah.
Is it a prosthetic?
You know how to use it? Yeah. Are you on time?
Is this a reliable dick?
Yes. Do you work well with others?
Is it friendly? Does it know etiquette?
Do you always need a raise?
Yeah.
I
Do
think
you
the
dress professionally?
Dress for the job you want.
That's right.
The unsolicited dick pic. I have
Yeah.
to think that's 0 for a million in terms of working, right?
No, I am absolutely convinced that this is where women have failed other women, because guys
Right.
would only send this stuff if it works, right? Somewhere some woman
Nah,
was
I
like,
don't know.
yes, give me that dick pic. Yes.
I don't know, because I think part of the dick pic, I think the guy is turned on that this girl has now seen his dick.
Yes, I do
And
believe
so
there are
that's
those.
working
Yeah.
for him.
Yes.
She doesn't need to reciprocate.
I think yes, I agree with you.
Speaking for myself.
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
I also think once upon a time in some dude's life, there was one woman who was like, that's great. This is the best dick I've ever seen. Please
Yes,
send more.
Please. Where can we meet up?
Right now.
I got a dick pic sent to me today. This is true. I was, speaking of this tour, for this comics, I asked the guy for a headshot. And he emails me 3 pictures, and one of them was some other guy that I know's dick pic. I don't know how he had it. I don't want to know. But I was like, oh, that's better than that's a white guy and his dick. And you're a black comedian. This is a weird situation.
You
I will
said
not
you wanted
use
a
that.
headshot.
Yeah, so I got
And-
it. And I can share it with you if you're interested. So.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
I'm good. We're closed for business in that department.
Okay, fair enough.
But people are using LinkedIn for un-LinkedIn purposes, and
Yeah.
it's getting out of hand.
Oh, yeah, that seems like that's not the intended purpose.
No,
Mm-hmm.
not the intended purpose. So you are not on LinkedIn, not getting dick pics through LinkedIn, but you are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram,
Yes.
and the show is the podcast on all 3 as well.
Yes, at Rob and Joe Show, Rob and Joe Show on Facebook, the Murder Mystery at Die Laughing Productions, Instagram and
You're
Facebook, and I'm on dickpic.org. So we're a nonprofit. So.
I'm not just a hair club member. I'm also
Right.
the president.
Hey.
Gosh. And so you are large and in charge on social media. You're on there. I feel like in my feeds, you're at the top of them almost every single day.
I try to. I mean, clubs have said, look, we really like it when you're tweeting. We'll retweet when you're posting. So
Yes.
I think just as a comedian, there's so much competition for these clubs. So
Yes.
if they see you're promoting,
Right.
if you go there and you tip well, the wait staff likes you. They
Right.
talk about you more.
Right.
All these little things that don't really take that much from you, it just puts you
Right. Right.
on their radar more.
Right. And your growth has been extremely organic. And so talk about
Very slow.
yeah. Well, organic growth
Yes.
usually is. And it's good that you recognize that, because
Yeah.
I have a lot of clients who are like, we didn't get 85 likes this week. Well, you posted one picture.
Yeah.
Dial it down. Have you thought about any strategy, or is you really just you post stuff as it comes, or are you really kind of trying to think of a strategy of growing?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple ideas that I think could be like viral videos
Right.
that I want to, really sit down and just do. But it's
Right.
going to take some planning
Right.
and that. And I think that is something that could, if done properly, could really, blow up. But just from a day-to-day thing, it's as a comic, some people are just posting show stuff.
Yeah.
And some people are they're just talking about Trump, but then their act's not about Trump. But it's like, okay, are you just, I get maybe it's cathartic. You want
Right.
to that's fine. But, if they go to see your show because they
Right.
see you hate Trump, and then you
Right.
just don't talk about that,
Right.
what is that message?
Right.
Or if they just want to laugh and not be bogged down with politics, do
Right.
they want to go? So, but at the same time, you do want to let people in and talk about your life a little bit because
Right.
they become more invested in who you are.
Right.
But I try to keep it lighthearted and funny, or show specific promotion.
Right. Well, content creation, I think from your industry is incredibly challenging, because you want to be informational and dare I say sometimes educational.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of stay true to the show that you provide so that people don't feel like they're bait and switched when they come and see you.
Yeah.
And so it is a really hard line to walk, but you can. And there are people out there that are doing a great job of having a good mix. It's not just dick jokes and
Right.
and that sort of thing. They're actually putting stuff out there. Have you thought at any point in time of developing, something that's a little more educational for comics that are up and coming, since you kind of have this broad base of experience wearing all these different hats? I just can't.
I want most comics to quit, basically.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
less, so I
Yeah.
think we're
Give them
bogged
really
down.
bad tips.
Right.
really, just give them really bad
Right.
tips. So, what advice? You want them to go away. They're not going to go away. What advice would you give to comics that are up and coming about building their brand and how they build their network and their organic growth?
Well, first of all, don't lie to yourself. If you're not doing well, maybe it's the crowd that night, but
Right.
if it keeps happening, or you're not crushing,
Right.
and places and times where you should be,
Right.
that's you. Because there are situations where this was not every show you're going to crush, but sometimes it's the ball right down the middle of the plate.
Right.
It's the home run derby. You're there to hit it out.
Right.
And then if you're just doing fine there, that's actually not good.
Right.
So, yes, it's not for everybody. So
Right.
I think there are comics they enjoy the scene because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Comics can be fun people to hang out in the back of the room and bullshit, and then you start to fall in love with that and this idea that you're a comic and calling yourself that.
Yes.
But then you're like, are you really? You're just going up at open mics. It's an open mic. That's
Right.
the concept. You're not really doing it.
Right.
So, but I think once you get to the point where you're getting paid shows, talk about those, because I see people have their calendar. Yeah, but it looks good, but it's all open mics.
Right.
And so, what if they come there to see you and they see there's 12 people there and you're on it? Does that make them think that you're doing? I think that's the crowd, the audience is like, oh, this isn't really a big deal.
Right.
And they get there and then it's a letdown.
Yeah.
Versus, if they go and they see it's just 3 people and you're doing a longer set, then they're like, oh yeah, I'm really coming to something. This person's really doing something.
Right.
So I think I get that you want people to come out, but
Yeah.
make it worth it. Make it
Right.
If you're really telling them about it and it's a real show, that's when you want them to come. Because if you're bogging them down with just I'm at this open mic, then it's lost in the shuffle of what might be a real show. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes. And I mean, I'm sure in somebody's development there is that tipping point where you got to do a lot of open mics,
Absolutely.
but eventually you have to make that crossover into
Right.
real legitimate shows. And if you've already kind of it's kind of like in my industry, if you're out there doing paid speaking engagements, which I do, you're not going back to giving free speeches.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, and once you make that tipping point, you really, unless it's like, a family member or a good friend, you're really not going back to giving speeches for free. Once you've crossed that threshold, you're over on this side.
And know your worth to some point.
Yes. Yeah, you really have to know your worth and stop doing the free open mics. Have people pay you.
Well, you can do the open mic because if you're doing it, because you're working out material, and that's
Yes.
good. But and I've done this, that sometimes it's not worth to do a show because this idea of going on the road, you've romanticized it.
Yes.
But there are times, and we're all guilty of this, you're driving 200 miles and you're for $100. You could have just done a show here.
Right.
And you're toughening your skin,
Right.
which is important to some degree.
Right.
But from a comic standpoint, you're not, you do learn things. You learn how to fight a crowd and compete with a TV or a football game that's on.
Right.
But is that really what you want to do?
Right.
Is that giving you? It's not giving you a lot of enjoyment.
Right. Right.
And you have this idea that we went on a road trip. Okay.
Good for
I
you.
get that, but you're better off just staying at home and doing a show close by for free,
Right.
where you have an actual audience.
Right. And so in terms of online interaction with fans or, sponsors and the media, what is your favorite platform to use and what benefit have you seen out of it?
Well, I think the podcast, we have a chat room. I'm on the Mike O'Mara show.
Right.
We guest on
Right.
there. So, you talk more about your life there,
Right.
and therefore people know you more.
Right.
Just like, people feel like they know Howard Stern.
Right.
They know the radio guy. And so when I meet people, I've had people that come to, there's a couple in Richmond when I'm down there. They come every time.
Right.
And I feel bad because I don't have enough new jokes for them to keep. And they have actually said that. Do you have you got any new stuff? And I'm like,
Oh, God.
all right, I see what you're saying there, Laura. But but I think then you go from this, they're a fan, to now,
Right.
we're friends.
Yes.
And I think when that happens organically, it is cool because there are
Yes.
people that I've just met through the podcast that now we're friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And does
I'm not gonna help you move, but
well, maybe if you pay me.
Yeah.
But in terms of like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, which one of the platforms are your favorite?
I think I think so. The problem is Facebook. I get the most traffic and the most people commenting.
Right.
Because Twitter, sometimes if you're not tweeting constantly,
Right.
you get lost in the
lost.
shuffle.
Yes.
And Twitter can be hard for comedians because it depends on your style. There's a way to a Twitter joke is there's limits to it.
Yeah.
It has to,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't write jokes that way.
Right.
So I feel like I can kind of dabble in more long form and shorter jokes.
Right.
But there are people that just because they can't write a funny Twitter joke does not mean they're not hilarious on stage.
Right.
Now Facebook you can expand more, but sometimes I wish people would I'll do a Facebook joke.
Yes.
You shouldn't be commenting.
No.
Because this is just it's a stupid joke. It
Yes.
should stand on its own. And when
Yeah.
you're commenting, for example, who's on your Mount Rushmore of Beatles? It's a stupid joke. There's four
Yes.
of them.
Yes.
There's really nothing to say.
Right.
But people will start answering and trying to be funny. And I get that.
Right.
But
and you
can
want that
just
engagement.
like it. Yes.
But yeah.
Yes. But sometimes you can just like and share. That's all I want you to do.
I did enjoy the Rihanna post.
Yes. Some people didn't.
Some people got
Yeah.
they
Right.
got touchy about it.
Well, there are people like Rihanna, Beyonce,
Right.
any,
You can't touch them.
depending on where you are in the world, you can't make fun of a certain sports team or player because
Right.
their fans will come after you.
Right.
People do take it seriously.
And it's like you realize I'm a comedian, right? You realize
Yeah.
that this is what I do for a living. I'm not Wolf Blitzer here.
No,
I'm a comedian.
No, these are supposed to be jokes. And
calm down.
Yeah.
And so, but you're not giving any love to Instagram, no?
no, I do like Instagram, and I'm trying to do more of that because I have cool pictures. I've been to cool places.
Yeah, you
I
have.
have actually. Here's the pyramids. That's pretty cool. So
Yeah,
I
it is
can
pretty
show
cool.
things. So
It's just not funny.
no, it's not funny. But I'm not like a meme guy. I'm not a GIF guy. I'm not a I imagine
Is it GIF or GIF?
I don't even know how to say it. I don't know. But I imagine a college debate team now.
Yeah.
They just just make faces of pictures, and
Yes.
that's how they come back.
Yeah.
They don't retort,
No.
rebut.
No.
They just make a face of no, and then it's another meme back and forth because that's the way people communicate.
Yes. People, I mean, there's an entire movie about emojis.
Yes,
I mean, we're
it's
literally,
bad.
we're, it's funny to me. We have literally completely de-evolved to hieroglyphics. This is like how.
And I'm fighting it. Sometimes it's funny. I get that. It makes you
Right.
laugh. But I want to be able to still use words.
Right.
I want to hold on to words.
Well, I fight this battle with a couple of my clients because you need to still keep using appropriate grammar.
Yes.
And there is still a place in this world, because if you don't, it completely changes the meaning of the sentence.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple of clients get themselves in hot water because of a very poorly misplaced comma.
Yeah.
And people are forgetting about that. People are forgetting that there's grammar rules for a reason, but because
Yeah.
we have now moved into this shortened form of communication, grammar no longer has a place. And it's a soapbox that I'm going to remain to stand on because it's so important.
It is. I think it's a losing battle.
I think it is too.
Because I'll see a post and I'm like, 10 people have commented, but no one is talking about this spelling and the grammar. And
Right.
Is it me? Like, what?
Right. And you're like, you feel like an old person that,
Yeah.
you should be telling the kids to get off of your lawn or whatever the case may be. But
People don't care.
they don't.
They don't. They also don't care about contradicting themselves. They have, like, I don't want to be full of shit. Like, I don't care if I'm right or wrong, but I want to be consistent. So,
Right.
But some people, it's like I know, take a president with golf.
Right.
They hated that Bush played golf. They didn't
Right.
mind Obama. They hate that Trump. I don't. By the way, they're not playing golf. They're still working. They're not actually away from their job.
Right.
We have all the technology. They can still
Work
play
from
golf
right
and
there.
do things. So they're still working. So let them play golf. Who cares?
Whatever.
Especially Trump. What's the worst thing he can do on a golf course? 3-putt? Like, I think there's worse things he can do in the White House. I feel safer when he's golfing. So I want him to actually be golfing more.
So it actually works to our benefit.
Right.
We have successfully completely blown past our time.
Oh my God.
Like we have
Wow.
successfully
Tight ship here.
I mean, we have literally.
Are we going to be fined for going over?
No,
Thank God.
They're just gonna pull the plug
Right,
at some
well.
point. Thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure, Francis.
I love it. I love that you're here. I need to thank my sponsors, Columbia Lighthouse for the Blind and Co-Create. Thank you for your money. Next week, our guest will be Washington Post sports writer and author Jake Russell. Super excited to have
Awesome.
him.
He'll get 3 less minutes because I went over.
That's
so.
right. I'll actually get beaten as soon as we
Right.
get off the air. Again, if you want to reach out to me, you can do so on Twitter at LTP Brand Radio and on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal. Of course, you can always find me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Instagram is Firestarter CEO and Twitter is Your Firestarter. Thank you so much. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
My pleasure.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy to have you and spend some time with you. See you next week.
Later.
Bye.